Okay, Al, beautiful. We can see you coming down the ladder right now. It looks like you're about on the bottom step. And on the surface.
Apparently Houston's seeing pictures are not feeding to us yet.
Okay, you're right.
There they are.
Al's on the surface, and it's been a long way, but we're here.
It's been a long way for Al Shepard.
We were in Cold War that was darn close to hot war with the Russians.
They had been launching some rockets, and ours too often had been blowing up on the launch pad. And that was sort of the background to what happened then in 57 when they sent up Sputnik.
Right then, I think we all inwardly resolved that that wasn't going to last. We were going to do something about it.
It was just a faint beep, a radio beacon, coming from a shiny little orb circling the Earth. In 1957, Sputnik signaled the beginning of the space age, and the United States was behind. Our first successful answer to Sputnik came with the launch of the Explorer-1 satellite, and within the year, the formation of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Explorer-1 had science instruments on it. And so it really marks the first use of space for scientific exploration.
We have one of the most challenging assignments that has ever been given to modern man. We will be preparing for the day when manned flight goes into space.
Alan Shepard's flight was a fantastic moment in the history of NASA. I think back on that and I watch him come out of that van on the Redstone pad and look up at that rocket in that silver suit he had on, wondering himself what the hell he was doing there.
This nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
That was all heady stuff, and we were all, you know, go man, go.
Some of the doctors were concerned, for instance, that when you're in zero G for a while, for several hours, they're afraid your eyes might change shape.
Roger, zero G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous.
This is the dawn. It truly was the age of Aquarius in the 60s. The mood around us was always electric. The press revered the astronauts, and it revered those of us in the front of the program.
Communication satellites, of course, came into being, and a lot of other, neat things have happened as a result of that technology push.
There's the drop. Before it returns to Earth again, the X-15 may fly some 60 miles straight up at nearly 4,000 miles per hour.
And I can see the reason we have a tilt is because we landed on the slope. The landing gear struts appear to be about evenly depressed. Roger, out. And moving around, getting familiar.
Ignition start.
Liftoff.
Gemini was the program between Mercury, the single-seater in Earth orbit, and Apollo, the three-seater all the way to the moon.
Gemini 12, Houston, Capcom, new EVA record, beautiful job.
The fire on the pad was a traumatic event. It ripped us apart, to be perfectly honest with you. It was a terrible day.
5 weeks later, as the backup crew, we inherited the first manned Apollo mission, which turned out to be Apollo 7. So we were quite proud of the fact that we had a triumph out of a disaster.
On Apollo 8, when we rotated the spacecraft and saw for the very first time the far side of the moon, only 60 miles below, we were like three school kids looking into a candy store window.
The moon is essentially gray, no color.
I just thought there were so many unknowns that I would have given us about a 50-50 chance of being the first flight to land and return someone safely.
Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle. Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
I think it was the biggest event from an aviation point of view and probably from a scientific point of view that happened in the 20th century.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Our first steps on the moon were the culmination of efforts put forth by a host of people who simply refused to believe it could not be done. It was an accomplishment of human ingenuity and tenacity. Apollo 11 was the end of the race to the moon, an important milestone in our exploration of space.
Getting familiar with the surface. Surface in which the forward footpad landed is extremely soft. Matter of fact, it's in a small depression. The soil is so soft that it comes up all the way to the top of the footpad, and even folded over the side to some degree. The same is true of the plus Y strut.